Flashy cars, big mansions, millions of dollars worth of jewelry. The lifestyle of the super rich is coveted by most people in the world, and many go to great lengths to achieve their dream of having it all. And as the number of millionaires grow and the platforms for showing off are ever increasing, a lot of people now have a skewed view of what it means to be rich and what it takes to finally have all that money and all the sacrifices these people have made to be successful, whether it be their time, family, or relationships and their well-being. People are focused on the end result and will only judge the success, the crazy amount of fortune, and the freedom these people seem to have without ever realizing that there might be a backstory that might shock them and maybe appreciate their own lives by understanding the true cost of wealth. Like many of us, rich people have their fears, doubts, and anxiety about what their future holds. We might not realize that by simply watching the polished and final presentation, but many of them surprisingly share a lot of our day-to-day dilemmas with more intensity and focus for obvious reasons. Their problems will get bigger with more money, as this will influence their choices and preferences, affecting their relationships in a negative way. Aside from this, rich people are constantly worried about their status and whether they're making enough money. This might sound silly for most of us, but many wealthy people are on a continuous mission to amass more fortune, even though they have enough money to last them many lives. And believe it or not, the stress of trying to get additional millions to your bank account is as stressful as trying to make ends meet and get by with a minimum wage. And here we'll see 10 ways money brings misery to the wealthy. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our videos that we upload every single day. Competition. Wealthy people, whether knowingly or unknowingly, are always comparing themselves with the people in their circle, and are on a mission not to be outdone and keep updated about the next big purchase of their fellow millionaires. They're often seen buying things that are bigger, flashier, and of course more expensive than the current record holder. They'll buy big mansions enough to hold a village. They'll buy a yacht too big for them to enjoy, and many more purchases done for the sole purpose of showing off how much more wealthier they are than their wealthy friends. This in itself might not be a big deal, but their obsession of being the richest person in the room can mean serious work and lead to detachment from reality, as their purpose in life would be to own the biggest and most expensive anything, to never be number two. This results in being blind to other issues surrounding them and keeps them from exploring ways to put their money to better use and maybe give themselves a break from always being a victim of con artists that are selling them the same things in different colors again and again. Obsession of making endless investments. Some rich people have a net worth equal to the yearly budget of small nations, and you'd think that they would be content and satisfied with their wealth. Most of us dream about winning a lottery and think of how we'd quit our jobs and enjoy our win for the rest of our lives without ever thinking that we need more, because it would be way more money than we'd make working a normal job all our lives. But the rich don't look at money that way. They'll make more investments and buy businesses to make more than the millions or billions they already have. They'll obsessively search for ways to make money that they don't need. This will consume their lives and take away the time they should have used to enjoy all the good things the world can offer with the millions they already have. Instead, they spend their time confined in an office, trying to get more of what they have every day. Trust issues. You cannot blame a rich person for doubting other people's intentions, especially those who come later in their lives if they are self-made, or any new person if they've always been rich. Many people will approach them or befriend them only because they have a lot of money to spend. And whether they're doing so to have a good time or ask them for a loan, it can be challenging having to deal with constantly worrying about what the other person's intentions are, and can lead to being unable to trust anybody, even those that have no interest in their bank accounts. Relationships. Money will definitely play a huge role in relationships. It can range from family to friends to business partners, employees, and others that they might come across as a result of being super rich. In most cases, family and friends relationships will suffer greatly or have an unhealthy nature because of the very small amount of time spent with each other, which can eventually lead to a breakup of family. Other outside relationships suffer because of the nature of business and constant demand from both sides. This can create a feeling of being taken advantage of, ending relationships and even business partnerships worth millions. Anxiety about status. It may be hard for most of us to comprehend, but the rich are always wondering about their spot among their fellow wealthy people. They're constantly asking themselves if they have enough, or even worry about their worth, especially if they find themselves in a group that have a few millions more than them. They stress themselves about having more and spend so much time worrying about what others think of them. It can be difficult and are forced to do and buy things just to assure themselves and others of their status in society. Entitlement. It's normal to see high-profile super-rich individuals being humble and doing all sorts of humanitarian work. But the vast majority of wealthy people are obsessed with themselves and their lifestyle. They'll often feel like they're better than everyone else around and connect everything with their fortune. This will give an ugly image of someone having it all, but missing the most important thing in life, which is loving the people around you and not making them feel like a burden or someone they were born to serve you. Entitlement could hurt relationships and even make day-to-day encounters tough, as the person will always demand to be served at the expense of others. Isolation. So whether self-made, inheritance, or born into money, the life of the super rich can be pretty isolated. Even those ones that are active in their social circles will be attending events and carefully planned vacations. Other than that, they will spend much of their time isolated in their big mansions or the selected and safe places where they can enjoy their day without the constant fear of someone causing them harm. This leaves them absolutely powerless and dependent on a security system that they have to pay a fortune for and an isolated lifestyle. Need for perfection. Life for most of us is messy, and that's not a bad thing. In fact, life is more fun when everything isn't about a list of things to do every hour of the day. But for the rich, especially those who've had money all their lives, perfection in every aspect of their lives is mandatory. From the way they look to the way they behave, and even small details of dinner table etiquettes are their way of life. And in this ever-advancing world, they're forced to keep track of the most recent trends within the community and either have access or buy whatever it is to keep their perfect image. Example is the crazy amount of wealthy people perfecting their looks with plastic surgery and the obsession with looking young eternally. Money decides the people around. For most people, money will not necessarily decide their friendships, acquaintances, and marriages. And because of this, they're also finding genuine friends and true love are huge. But for the wealthy that have not yet found their better half, it can be really difficult finding the one. This is because the rich person is never sure whether the other person is approaching them for a reason other than their money. And same goes for their new friendships. It can take a toll on a person having to dissect and analyze their relationships with people, and unfortunately that's the reality for many who have great fortunes. Ever-expanding ego. Even though almost all of us share this trait, it's exaggerated and unhealthy when it comes to the wealthy. With money comes great ego that needs to be fed every opportunity. This not only makes the person miserable, it will also make people they come in contact with uncomfortable and can have negative effects on their relationships and even work environments. It can be really annoying for others when someone who's self-involved is continuously demanding their approval. But it's worse for the person needing validation and their ego fed every time and can lead to dissatisfaction in life. Don't forget to share your ideas in the comment section below. Tell us if you agree with our list. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell button to be notified for our daily content, and thanks for watching.